As the sun rises over vast landscapes, we see the ancient mountains standing tall, rivers flowing endlessly, and skies that stretch into infinity. The timelessness of nature unfolds before our eyes, undisturbed, unwavering, eternal. Nature has its own rhythm, its own cycles, which continue long after we are gone. The mountains, though worn by time, still stand. The rivers, though they change course, continue to flow. Everything here, everything around us, speaks of eternity. But while nature's cycles represent eternity in the physical world, we, as human beings, seek it in a different way, in the spirit. We long for something that transcends the physical body. We yearn for a sense of continuity, a connection to something larger than ourselves. In our hearts, we know that there must be more than just the passing of days and the fleeting moments of our lives. Eternity, in our human experience, is not just the passage of time. It is a journey of the soul, a quest for meaning, and a search for something that persists beyond the limits of our bodies. As we stand here on the edge of time, let us reflect on what it means to live eternally, not just in the way the earth lives, but in the way our spirit endures. Close your eyes for a moment and think of a candle, its flame flickering gently in the darkness. The wax melts, the flame dances, yet the light remains, illuminating the space around it. The body, like the candle, is temporary. It fades, it perishes, but the light, the essence, the spirit, does it not continue? This is the concept of eternal life, the spirit's journey beyond the body. Philosophers have long speculated on the nature of the soul. Many believe that the spirit is not confined to the physical form, but instead exists independently, transcending the material world. It is the essence of who we are, the part of us that continues even as the body ages, decays, and returns to the earth. Consciousness studies suggest that our sense of self is not merely a product of our physical brain. Instead, there may be an essence, a part of us that is unbound by the limitations of the body. This continuity of the spirit, beyond the physical, is what many believe constitutes eternal life. Whether it is through reincarnation, divine unity, or an ongoing evolution of consciousness, the spirit's journey doesn't end with the death of the body. It continues endlessly beyond the confines of time. Eternal life, in this sense, is the continuity of that essence, that awareness, that spark of being which cannot be destroyed but only transformed. The cycles of nature speak a language of eternity. Look at the trees, how they shed their leaves each fall, only to grow new ones in the spring. The seasons change, and yet the rhythm remains the same. The river, too, flows continuously, never stopping, never ending. Even as its waters shift, they never disappear. These cycles in nature serve as powerful symbols of eternity. They show us that life is not a linear journey, but rather an ongoing cyclical process. Birth, growth, death, and rebirth, they are not isolated events, but part of a greater, timeless flow. In the same way, our lives are part of a larger pattern, a continuous loop that mirrors the cycles of nature. We are born, we grow, we change, we age, and we return to the earth. Yet, just as the river keeps flowing, our essence, our spirit, endures. These natural cycles remind us that eternity isn't about a static state, but about perpetual motion, change, and renewal. Just as nature's rhythms never cease, the spirit's journey is one that continues, ever evolving, ever transforming, but never ending. Life and death are not opposites. They are part of the same cycle, each giving birth to the other. And within this cycle, we too are reborn, time and time again, in the endless flow of existence. In the realm of science, we encounter a principle that echoes the idea of eternal life, the law of conservation of energy. This law states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only change form. The energy that fuels life, our thoughts, our actions, the very spark of life itself, does not vanish when we die. It transforms, continues, and adapts. This scientific truth suggests that, like energy, the essence of life may not simply end with the death of the physical body. Instead, it may persist, taking on new forms, evolving, and continuing in ways we do not yet fully understand. Whether through the transformation of matter into energy or the energy that exists in the universe, nothing truly disappears. It merely changes. We can see the parallel to the spirit. If the essence of life is indeed energy, and energy endures through transformation, then perhaps the spirit too persists, continuing its journey beyond the physical. This is not just a philosophical notion, but a concept grounded in the laws of nature. The body may decay, but the energy, the spirit, may find new forms, just as matter and energy do in the universe. In this way, the scientific view of the conservation of energy aligns beautifully with the idea of eternal life, suggesting that our essence, our very being, may continue in ways we cannot yet see, but that are as enduring as the laws of nature themselves. Eternal life is not only a matter of survival, it is also a journey of growth, wisdom, and fulfillment. As the spirit travels through time, it seeks not just to exist, but to evolve. Philosophers and psychologists alike believe that the pursuit of knowledge, self-awareness, and inner peace is central to the soul's journey. Each lifetime, each experience, is an opportunity for the spirit to learn, to grow, and to reach new levels of understanding. In some traditions, this journey is seen as one of enlightenment, an ongoing quest to align the self with a greater truth. This quest for wisdom is not just about accumulating knowledge, but about discovering deeper truths about ourselves, about the world, and about the universe. It's a process of transformation, of moving toward higher states of awareness and fulfillment. As the spirit learns and evolves, it grows closer to the ultimate source of wisdom, the universal consciousness that connects all life. Eternal life, then, is not just about continuing to exist. It is about evolving, refining, and expanding the spirit through endless exploration, discovery, and growth. While we may not be able to live forever in the physical sense, we can live on through the legacy we leave behind. Legacy is a powerful form of eternity. Our actions, words, and influence carry forward into future generations, creating ripples that extend far beyond our lifetimes. Whether through art, wisdom, or acts of kindness, our legacy continues to shape the world. Psychology tells us that leaving a meaningful legacy can give us a sense of purpose and fulfillment, knowing that our lives have impacted others in a positive way. By teaching others, by creating something that endures, we extend our presence far beyond our physical bodies. Just as the effects of a stone dropped in water ripple outward, so too do our actions, our kindness, our contributions. Legacy becomes a form of eternity, where we live on in the hearts and minds of those we've touched. Our impact endures, whether through our children, our creations, or our influence on the world around us. Through legacy, we find a way to transcend time, to connect with the future even as we are rooted in the past. What if eternal life is not just about the individual spirit, but about connection with something much larger than ourselves, a universal consciousness, an interconnected energy that binds all things? Quantum physics and consciousness studies suggest that the mind, the spirit, and energy may be part of a vast universal system. At the subatomic level, everything is connected. The same energy that flows through our bodies may also flow through the entire cosmos, linking us to every living thing. Some believe that our consciousness, in its deepest form, is not separate but interconnected with a greater universal intelligence, a vast, eternal mind that transcends time and space. In this view, eternal life isn't just about individual survival. It's about merging with the greater whole, becoming part of a timeless, interconnected web of existence. Just as individual cells are part of a greater organism, so too are we part of something much larger, a vast consciousness that extends beyond the boundaries of life and death. In this way, eternal life is about unity, unity with all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. As the sun sets over a peaceful landscape, the waves gently crash on the shore. In this quiet moment, we are reminded that eternity is not something distant, something far away. It is here, in the present moment, in the now.